Yeah, I think I only have one major question left. I think it's already been covered, but I wanted to discuss it a bit more. And sort of along the lines of how do you fix the problem? Now, you've obviously heard about Cop City in Chicago. We covered that for a while. A lot of problems associated with that, not least of which is who's funding it and what ostensibly the goals are. But we've also heard a number of communities have, and this is interesting too, saying, well, we should send less money to, say, Ukraine and more military equipment to our police. And as you had said, there are definitely jurisdictions that think that they need military-grade vehicles and much more impressive firepower. Are there any jurisdictions where you think that that is necessary or a good idea? And if that isn't the way to fix the problem, what is the way to fix the problem?
My short answer, and again, this is coming back from my time as, I taught tactics and I was part of a tactical unit. So we are over militarized our police. Now, part of that is a response to things we've seen in our society. So I will tell you the reason every officer in the United States now, or not every, but most, carry an AR isn't because the public doesn't maybe not remember, but it was the North Hollywood shooting. Again, I was a young police officer. I wasn't, I just heard it. It wasn't my shooting, wasn't my city, but that changed law enforcement. Now we have suspects armed in body armor. We need weapons that will punch through body armor. And then we decided to give every department a long gun of appropriate caliber to defeat most available body armors that the public can get their hands on. Doesn't defeat military grade, but again, that's a different issue as well. And so initially it seemed as a response that was good. Hey, we're going to give cops more tools. But then how were those tools being perceived by the public? We militarized. Okay, now you have to send your officers through rifle school and then rifle tactical training. And again, you're putting the tactics side really important because of this very rare scenario. North Hollywood shooting was a very rare scenario. But we have issues in the United States. This is the other side of it. The more militarized your public is, the more militarized the police have to be. And for those Second Amendment purists, if you don't want your cops armed better than you, then you have to make sure your public isn't armed better than your law enforcement. And right now, there's a constant ebb and flow. The reason police are driving around in Humvees and they want to have armored cars, again, I think it's because they want to look really cool is one of the issues. But the other reason is because there is a scenario that's realistic where they're going to have to respond to a situation where the public outarms them. And, again, the average, in some states, it's okay and it's legal to own weapons that law enforcement has no response for. It's military grade hardware. The only reason you need a 50 caliber rifle, right? These are realities of the country we live in, is to shoot through cars. That's it. And to defeat all available body armor. There's no body armor currently available that any law enforcement officer can wear that will protect them against a 50 caliber rifle.
Yeah.
So now there has to be a scenario. What do we do if we run up against someone with a 50 caliber? Well, now we have to have a urban assault vehicle that will stop 50 caliber rounds. Now your police department looks like a military. It doesn't look like a police department. So I am a proponent for. I'm not a Second Amendment absolutist. I definitely believe there needs to be comprehensive gun reform and legislation that limits, in some ways, the accessibility of the public to the most decisive and most militarized form of firearms. Again, I'm not saying that you can't own an AR,